Hello friends! As a part of my zero waste healthy dieting, I have been doing some research on green juice. So it's basically like a juice with superfoods, and you can Google green juice and research that a bit more if you'd like. I found a way to do it zero waste, of course. So there is no packaging, there is no buying it online and having the shipping costs and the higher costs of it being pre-made for me. So I'm saving a ton of money. Like, a lot of my zero waste stuff is very financially conscious as much as eco-conscious. And so I went to Earth's General Store today, and with my own jars, these are the superfoods I got for my green juice, which tastes amazing, by the way. Oh, yeah. And it's green, it's in a green bottle, but you could see the juice itself is very green. So what I did to mix it is I just got a little container with a really good sealable lid for the top. So when I put the lid on, I could shake it up really good and it's not gonna, like, the lid's not gonna fly off on me. So in this container, I put 2 tablespoons of each of my ingredients. And those ingredients are chlorella, monk fruit, moringa leaf, milk thistle, spirulina, if I'm saying that correctly, spirulina, and beetroot. And they're all powders, and 2 tablespoons of each to mix up my first batch. And then to make the juice, just put it in a bottle and add water, or add it to a smoothie. That's the way I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna add it to my morning smoothie and do it as a morning thing, except for this afternoon where I added it to water. But it's 2 teaspoons that I put in per serving. 2 teaspoons per serving is how I'm going to do it in a smoothie or in any amount of water you wish to try it in. And I would say you could use whatever, like, superfoods you are inclined to use, but I would suggest, because my research indicates, to include monk fruit in there, because that's going to help with the flavor and give it some natural sweetness. All right, so that's super cool. New adventure in eco/health/financially conscious. And I also went to the reuse center today. It was my second time at one of Edmonton's reuse centers. My first time there was on Family Day. It's maybe not something celebrated all over the world, but in Canada here we have a statutory holiday, and it's called Family Day, and it's around February 17th. And this year I spent Family Day at the reuse center and then went out to lunch afterwards with my friend Manna and her 3 boys, as well as my brother, and it was a great time. One of the activities they had there was making this, like, dream catchers and wind chimes. And creatively, Manna's 3 boys decided, because the house I'm living in has 4 cats, and sometimes the cats come downstairs to visit me. They were like, not Miss Julie, that's what the kids at school call me. My friend's kids call me Julie. So they're like, Julie, we should make a cat toy. So this is one of the cat toys the boys helped me make, and they just love to play with that when they're down here. If you're wondering why, if you know anything about cats, they don't like closed doors, and so this keeps them from getting into the storage furnace room area when they try to open the doors, and they put their paws underneath, and they could open it if I didn't have that attachment there. So it's fun to watch them play and try to get the doors open. We don't want them in the furnace room. They might get into the walls of the house if they go in there and get stuck somewhere. So yeah, it's a little fun side note. But yeah, just reusing like little doodads to make a cat toy or whatever. So creative. And I was at the reuse center again today, and they only charge like for like up to 25 kilograms of stuff. $5 for up to 25 kilograms of stuff. So for $5, let's see what I got. I got this wonderful book. It's called Live Happy by Deborah K. Hines, and I'm excited to read that. It looks like it'll be a good book. And also included in the $5 deal, I got a bunch of wax and candle making stuff, and there's like different colors, so I get to play around with different colors in this newfound creative candle making thing that I'm into. And there were a couple candles in there that are already made, just like brand new. And once I've used them, then I'll make more candles in it and have more candle containers. So that's pretty cool. And this is another one. It's like a cute little, there's a tea light in there. And all of this, everything you see here, $5, all the candle stuff in the book together. So I'm saving so much money doing this eco-conscious stuff, like thousands of dollars a year. Like I did the math. I am saving thousands a year every year for the rest of my life the more eco-conscious I get. And probably those thousands will increase the more I get into this. So it's pretty sweet. I am very much enjoying these adventures and the fun things, the resourcefulness and creativity that is coming about. I have more money and more time and more energy and everything to do different things, to go out to dinner with friends, or like this afternoon I took myself out to lunch just because I was hungry and I wanted to try a different restaurant before I did my shopping at Earth's General Store, because I was in between the reuse center and Earth's General Store, and I was hungry, so I'm like, I'm just gonna, stop in at a restaurant I've never been to, and I'm not concerned about the price because I'm saving so much money every day in every area of my life on doing more eco-conscious stuff. So it's cool. Like there's the health conscious, the financially conscious, and the eco-conscious. It's all wrapped in as one. I'm noticing more and more. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. And I do want to touch more on the consciousness part of things. So when we think of our brain and its connection to body, and our brain-body connection to the energy that resides within us. And if you're not sure about energy, you could just look up quantum physics. Everything is comprised of energy. And so some people may call it spirit or soul if they're like religious or whatever. But science, quantum physics states it's all energy. And so when we leave these bodies, when these bodies and brains die, our energy, who we truly are, gets to leave and go on to like watch over our loved ones and hang out and all that. And not only does quantum physics tell us that this is reality, this is how it works, so this is like the universe, the cosmos, it's all energy. I can tell you, I've had some really cool personal experiences in this lifetime that back up the quantum physics saying we're energy. I've actually had out-of-body experiences, and other people have had them too. If you're watching this and you haven't had any out-of-body experiences, you might not be able to relate at this moment, but rest assured, I have had some epic out-of-body experiences, and when you have them, and hopefully you get to have at least one in your lifetime, it's incredible, because then you see for yourself through your experience that you are not this body. This is just a meat suit. This is just like a vessel that you're borrowing for however long this lifetime lasts. And if you haven't watched the movie The Secret yet, I invite you to watch it. It's now available on Netflix. It's a documentary called The Secret. It's about the law of attraction, and the law of attraction is about quantum physics. So yeah, everything is energy. We create our health, our wealth, our lifestyle, everything that is in our lives, the way we are, the way we think, feel, our attitudes, our behaviors, we get to create how that is for us. We get to create the jobs we have, the friends we have, everything. And I've studied psychology for many years. I have my master's in psychology, as I mentioned once before. And I work as a behavioral therapist doing therapeutic play and other behavioral therapy techniques with young children. And from that perspective too, this all makes sense. It just all makes sense. The connections between brain and behavior, between the energy within us. And I'll just touch quickly on the brain and behavior side of things. So I'm not going to get into all of it today, and you can always watch the movie The Secret to get more into the quantum physics stuff and the law of attraction. But here's some of the psychology. So consciously, we have the ABCs of brain and behavior, okay? And so A stands for antecedent, also known as whatever is preceding the behavior. And the behavior is our predominant actions, our predominant habits, our predominant way of living, right? So behavior. And you could tell I'm Canadian because I've gotten used to using a U in behavior. Yeah, so behavior is whatever we're doing. So actions, our attitudes that come across in how we speak, what we're doing, those types of things, how we treat others and how we treat ourselves, right? And how we treat the world, the planet, right? And then the consequences of those behaviors. Consequences. Now, consequences can be positive or negative, right? Positive behaviors lead to positive consequences. Negative behaviors lead to negative consequences, positive or negative. So, we always start at the antecedent. And if you look at this in this way, past, present, future, okay? So, whatever preceded the present has an effect on the present, as long as we're unaware of what's affecting us. We get to choose what precedes the present in our thoughts and feelings and attitudes, and in the internal world, we get to choose what the antecedents are. But if we're running on autopilot and we're just running on the conditions of our past and the patterns of our thoughts, the habitual, like, old story thoughts and addictions and habits and whatever, if we're just like running on autopilot, then we're not creating this, our story and our lives necessarily the way we truly want to create it, right? So the antecedent, what precedes our behavior, could be that we have a victim mentality. If, you know, lots of things happen in our lives that create a victim mentality. I don't need to describe and go into that any further. We can have the thoughts and beliefs that we're in danger because we have, say, PTSD, the trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, and we can have all these diagnoses that cause more anxiety, depression, etc., right? So you get an idea of what precedes the behavior and helps to create the behavior. So it's the story we tell ourselves, the past thoughts, feelings that lead to the present thoughts, feelings, behaviors. So we can change the antecedent. We can change what comes before the behavior. And we do it through awareness. So if we change, or if we look at antecedent, say, as awareness instead. So now, the antecedent isn't victim mentality, or we're in danger, or we can't trust people, and we're anxious and depressed, and we have all these reasons to be stuck in these situations and these ways of thinking and being. Instead of that old story, old patterns, awareness of what those old patterns are allows us to more easily create new patterns, new ways of being. So new patterns, new ways of being internally, and then the behaviors is the external. So how we treat others, ourselves, and the world is our behaviors, and it comes from either old patterns and conditioned beliefs, because what our parents told us or somebody else told us, that we've convinced ourselves that what they say is true, and that it has to be the way they're saying it, like the way society is saying, like, have to work hard for money, and never have time for anything but hard work, or whatever it is, and you could change it. You could change anything you want about your entire life. And then, so when you change the internal through awareness of the old patterns and getting really honest with yourself. So this is like honesty, getting honest with where all this, so getting honest with where your behaviors are coming from is essentially what I'm saying here. Once we get honest with where our behaviors are coming from, then we can honestly change our behaviors and where those new behaviors, those new patterns are coming from, because they're coming from a new perspective through the awareness. And the consequences, we get to create positive consequences. We get to create our health, our financial abundance, our eco-conscious adventures, whatever we want to create in our lives, we get to create it. Love, joy, peace, right? We get to create it. And this negative stuff, it might come up sometimes, but if we're focused more on all the positives in our life, gratitude, all the positives in our life, no matter how big or small we think they are. So in any situation, if you could pull the positive from it, and you're just aware of the negative, like in a way of gentle, like, awareness. Like, you could see the negative, it's there, but it doesn't control you. It's not your focal point. If you hear or see a negative news story, it's not like that runs your life or controls your attitudes or feelings about what comes next for you, right? If a doctor says you have like a year to live at the most, that is their opinion based on some random statistic or some old statistic. Maybe that doctor hasn't even upgraded their education, who knows? And like, really statistics mean nothing when it comes to this stuff, because quantum physics, law of attraction, the way it all works is we get to create new patterns of being. If we're focused on, I'm healthy, I'm doing everything I can to be healthy, and I'm feeling great, I'm focusing on the good in my life, I'm focusing on healthy dieting, like so healthy eating and drinking, I'm focused on exercising and staying as healthy as I can. I'm focused on love. I'm focused on keeping it simple and being present and being relaxed and gratitude and giving thanks over and over again for all the good in my life. When we're focused on the good, we attract more good. So it doesn't matter what any doctor says. There have been countless studies for like the placebo effect and a whole bunch of other ways to show that if you believe you are healthy, you will be healthy. If you believe your body's gonna die within a year, then your body will probably die within a year. So it is your predominant beliefs that create the behavior and the attitudes that you hold and the consequences of that. You get to choose if it's positive or negative. And so that's my introduction to the conscious adventures within the eco-conscious adventures. And please, if you haven't already, I do suggest, if you want to learn more about this, to start with checking out The Secret documentary on Netflix. Okay. Love y'all, and I wish you all the best. Till later. Bye.